One's visual on the tanker, approximately 11 o'clock to 30. Big resolution, big TV, flight go echelon left. Check left Pegasus 1.
Shell, Hog 1-1, request rejoin.
Tanker's approximately 10 o'clock to 10 miles.
Proceed to pre-contact at 16,000.
Flight check left fighter turn on. Flight check left fighter turn on. Yeah, we caught him at the very end of the track. We're going to want to really get him here. To your approximately 10 o'clock high. Yeah, I'm not sure why you ran off on me there. No problem. Go ahead and call the tanker up on DCS comms.
Shell, Hog 1-2, request rejoin. Shell. Hog 1-2. Request rejoin. Shell. Hog 1-2. Request rejoin.
The default keypad to the uniform radio is right alt minus keypad. One's pulling it back. Any phone. Might want to check your bindings. Stand by here. Base 3 switches safe. Alright, go ahead and just autopilot up to the tanker, check your bindings. Correction, it's left alt, my keypad minus.
Shell. Hog 1-2. Request rejoin. Hog 1-2. Shell. Proceed to pre-contact at 16,000.
One smash 246. Base 3 fuel check. One 6.3. Sound like I stepped on you there. What'd you need to say? Yeah, firm, but I'm going to move observation. You'll be observation echelon left with me, and then I'll head over. One's moving astern.
Ready, pre-contact. Cleared contact. Contact. You're taking fuel.
for a boom operator module, it was like $10. I'd go 15. I think it'd be a lot of fun, actually. Oh, hell yeah. Arma and DCS, it's coming. It might be 2 decades away, but it's coming. That would be the simulator to end all simulators. Oh yeah, who doesn't? Other than maybe my computer. Yeah. I-9s will be like a low tier.
Transfer complete. Disconnect.
Let's move over form to clear to start.
Ready, recontact. Cleared contact.
pretty good though, I've yet to disconnect.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Clear for him.
Return pre-contact.
Yeah. I really do enjoy DCS. Don't forget your saddle call. Remember to say saddled when you're in position. Heavy oil heading 0. True north. Correction, back north. Center maintain 15,000. I'm going to continue it through 14.5. Continuing through 14.5. I just want to get away from that tanker is all. Alright, flight check left, Mount Irish. Flight go fighting wing. Yes. Flight climb maintain 15,000. Carry it through 15.5. I want to put us a little above 15, just that's 500 extra feet for the ILS, because if you don't, it might catch you a little off guard. You might descend a little too quick on in the arc. So yeah, you could take Arco at 15.5 and then could pass Ronki at 15 then. One smash 198. F-16 stall speed. Yeah, the A-10 does not play well in these high altitudes. And this is like low for the F-16. Supposedly, in the patch tomorrow, they'll be fixing saddle and, of course, Persian Gulf releases. Well, currently saddle's broken. Like, you don't show up at all, and if you do, you're botched and your refresh rate's bad. So they're going to fix it to where it's supposed to be fully operational tomorrow. Yep, it was 2 updates ago. It completely broke. Last update they sort of fixed it, but not really because it's still broken. So this update tomorrow is supposed to truly fix it. We'll see. Now, I don't want to give you a fat hat or anything, but given the progress of today's flight, I think you'll be deploying munitions by the end of the week. Alright, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. So what we'll do is who hovered into QT. Seems okay for me, but if I'm the one lagging, I wouldn't know. Is it frame lag or, packet lag? Flight, let's go ahead and check left, Arco. Alright, here's what we're going to do too. We're going to go ahead and, as we approach Arco, not quite yet, I'm going to break us up in the trail for 4 nautical, and we're going to both shoot the instrument approach. So yeah, we'll ensure that 4 nautical break up before we head in. Repeat. Negative. No, we're just going to break up trail before we hit Arco. Nope, you can just kind of float around, man. Fighting wing is super easy. It's an en route formation mostly. I mean, we will use it in combat sometimes, but it's an en route mostly that allows you to manipulate your profiles and your dismiss and all your other stuff, Copy. Yeah, I'm going to have one in sight. Oh yeah. What page you usually keep it on? Yeah, I usually keep it on steer point, and then I monitor ground speed taxiing, and then usually true speed in air. Yeah, steer point page is good stuff. But negative, no, you'd have to go to the waypoint page. You want to punch in the steer point number and then set the elevation to Alright, so go ahead and press the waypoint button on your CDU. Then you want steer point, and you can't change that elevation in there. Stand by here. Yeah, set your dial, or your steer point dial in the mission, and then your page out the other. Hit function 3. Go to waypoint. Select the waypoint number you want to put in with LSK 13. Or sorry, yeah, is it 13? Yeah. It should be able to edit the elevation data. So you're on waypoint mode. You're entering the waypoint number, correct? Stand by. I can edit it, so I'm not sure what the heck's the deal. True waypoint. Alright, well either way. Flight go travel, 4 nautical. One's pushing it up, 2, pull it back. Yeah, I never had an issue changing the elevation like that. Stand by here, we can play with it. about 2 nautical, so you want to go ahead and double the distance. Negative, no giant saddle. Flight push uniform 2. Two separation is good. Maintain airspeed 250 knots throughout the arrival. Measure Mace 31 passing Arco. Initial approach fix for the ILS runway is 21 left. Nellis AFB. Now showing Mystery 1 established to class runway 21 left, ILS full stop, Nellis traffic, 6 miles. Be advised, one's pulling it back. Might want to pull it back just to maintain separation here. One's 4D me. One's wheels down.
Altitude, altitude.
Now showing Mystery 1's clearly active at the southeast COR, Nellis traffic. Perfect separation. Alright, you're clear. Chapter safe shots, stand by words. Alpha Flight 210s, Maestri, Golf, the southeast yard of the Gulf of Edmonds via Alpha Golf, Nellis Charlie. 1 taxi. Oh god, man. You really gonna fly that thing? Good habits. Battery, right before battery and inverter, you call parked on uniform 1. Oh yeah, I pull it at the EOR actually before I pull the ejection seat handle up. One copies, one's parked. Park dress code, clear to exit for debrief. Yeah, no problem. Always got to remember to push back. All right, let's go ahead and debrief, shall we? I'm going to attack viewer file real quick. All right, first and foremost, ground procedures, departure, nothing really that I want to talk about. It's just stellar job. The only thing might be formation lights. Make sure those stay off. Those only come out at night. So from the only, I mean, there's no exceptions to that. The only time those lights will be operational is from the hours of sunset to sunrise. Flight controls free and correct checks. Make sure we get those. That's, in the real world, like pins, etc., don't get pulled, and flight controls get locked. But in DCS, it's more of a controllability issue. Like, everybody hates waiting to start up, get the CDU line, and all of a sudden they step on the rudder pedals and find, hey, my pedals aren't plugged in, or it's not working. You know what I mean? So just double check those. Other than that, departure, I'm looking at the tech view. Looks like it went great. Take a look here. We got Juno rejoined. Let's see. A little bit of a fiasco getting up the tanker. Typically, we go ahead. Well, it looks like as I turned into the tanker, you peeled off from the echelon, went buster, and decided to chase him down yourself. Looks like. Go ahead. Usually it's, yeah, fighter turn on. Usually it's about 60 to 70 degrees of bank, anywhere between 1 and 2 Gs. It's generally pretty relaxed. There will be sometimes if the tanker's, like passing by us quick, or there might be sometimes like today where we kind of had to kind of loop back around, where you might have to buster, call screw the formation and just, max performance turn to catch him. But definitely the first deviation was looks like you followed me through the turn and then continued the bank strong and probably lost visual on me. Yeah, you want to maintain that same echelon side picture, ideally. Echelon and really high bank turns is not fun. You want to try to maintain it if you need to. If it's not working out, you can always strip. Have we covered strip procedures? Okay. Do you remember them from the 8th? All right. If you have any issues with the formation and things get
hairier than 70s Japanese pornos. What you need to do is you gotta strip. Um, and the procedure for stripping is you're gonna go ahead and you say two stripping, high or low, left or right. And the idea is you want to vary your heading by 10 degrees of the last known heading and climb 1,000 feet high or 1,000 feet low of the last known altitude. And then you want to call blind, two stripping, then blind. And then what will happen is I'll look around, I'll talk you back on and try to get your visual. So just wanted to cover that procedure. I wouldn't really have with a tanker in that turn like that, it probably would have necessitated this trip as we were turning. If you lost visual on me and we were near max performance trying to catch that tanker. But other than that, I'm really not worried about it. We got visual back quick. Just for future reference, be sure to look for that echelon and try to maintain that echelon the best you can. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I tried to call him at like 90 at 5 miles. I was actually at the time getting preoccupied with something else off screen, so I was a little late to call it. My bad. Um, Other than that, though, the AAR went very well. You had one disconnect, which falls into I think the key minus criteria. Maybe let me go look. Going to be area. That's going to be area 20, I think. That'll be key minus. But no, other than that, the AIR was very impressive. At least for the first time back in a while, I'd assume. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, there may have been some PIOs in there, but and it looks like it did cause a disconnect, but I mean, ultimately it worked out fine. He tapped off in two connects. That's Q minus. So, almost every single IQT sortie we will do will have a trip to the tanker in it. So there's that. You get a lot of practice and a lot of time in the AR. But went well. I was overall really impressed with your formation, both in fighting wing and in echelon today. Stellar job there. The breakup at 4 nautical was good. I'm taking a look at the tack view on the instrument here. From Chris or to Chris into the arc. Yeah. Yeah, looking here, it looks like your altitude busted way down from what TACView is calling 8,000 all the way down to like 5. So we lost about 3,000 feet turning into Chris. Definitely busted up an altitude restriction there. Well, TACView says 5, but it's probably closer to about 6 because the weird DCS pressure altitude system, our altimeters are going to see different from what TACView sees. So definitely a busted altitude there. Other than that, the ILS approach looks good. Once you capture the localizer, it's like a straight-in glide path. Landing was good. Taxiing and shutdown procedures were all fine. other than maybe like the EOR. I think it was lag. It kind of looked like it went off the line quite a bit. Almost got a tire in the dirt. Oh yeah. Okay. Technique tip here. Don't perform checklists unless the aircraft is stopped. Yeah. And that's something a lot of real world aviators do. I mean, you don't want to be heads down when you're taxiing the aircraft. If in real life, somebody or an animal, or well, I'd say small regional airports, but if something comes out on the ramp and you don't see it and you hit it with your airplane, it's never good news. And jets, not a big deal. I mean, it can be depending on what you find. You can ingest something into the engine. And prop planes is a much bigger deal because if it comes out in front of you, you're going to chop it up. Um, but just as a general piece of advice, don't touch checklists until you're stopped. Other than that, let's see what I wrote down. I said external whiting. That was at the start. So how I work is I just make bullet points as I go down the flight. So things that I write at the bottom or closer to the end of the flight. External whiting. Excellent departure. Altimeter in the revetments. Caught you on that. Avoid the cone for fighting wing. Impressive AAR in formation. Well flown instrument. But looking back in TAC view, that busted altitude. I mean, once gotta say, once you intercept the localizer, it was all worked out. But whatever happened to Chris doesn't look very good. It looks like you flew 5,000 to sheet. All right, so let me. No, that's all right. Let me grab the chart. And I actually, in all honesty, it might not be. If you passed Chris at 8,600, you're good to go. If you immediately descended down to 5,000 and met sheet at 5,000, you're good to go. The only reason I suggest a bust is because TACview's altitude on the tanker reads 16,000, right? Now, if you looked in cockpit when we were doing that, altimeter read 15.5. So it looks like TACview has an instrument error of about 500 feet. And TACview is saying that past Chris, you dropped down to 5,100, or roughly in that ballpark, which means you would have been at like 48. Now, that's all extrapolating instrument error, and TACview's a pile of shit anyway. So I don't know. But what I can say is that a descent like that after Chris, I mean, as long as it meets the altitude constraints, if that's how you want to rock, not how I'd do it, but hey, man, whatever gets the shit done. So if ultimately your call, if you in your monitoring didn't bust altitudes, you're fine. That's acceptable. That's fine. Um, so the good news is that because of TACview's instrumentation error, and I wasn't in your cockpit, from what I can tell, and I'm not going to trust my extrapolation on TACview's altimeter data because I just don't have any proof, and I feel like it wouldn't be fair. From what I can tell, you've met at altitude restrictions. Yeah, I mean, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I'm not going to trust my judgment when it comes to TACview's extrapolation. So from what I can see, you met altitude restrictions. DME arc is acceptable within +1 nautical mile, either out or in, and you were 1 nautical mile in, so that's still Q zone. Of course, like I said, whatever you want to do to get the job done on the ILS to meet those altitude constraints, not quite the way I'd approach it, but you do you. Ultimately, the ILS was definitely was a Q, so that's leniency right there. Other than that, man, I don't have much to add. It did a great job again. Blew my socks off. Very impressive flight tonight. me go ahead and grab our time. Then I got to update currencies. So we departed. Looks like we were off the taxiway at. We began taxiing now at the 10-minute mark. Yeah, you were in 170. Began taxiing out at 10. We were landed and shut down at 31. So that's going to be an hour and 20 minutes or so. Convert that to decimals. It's a handy dandy sheet. Let's see. It's going to be about I'd reckon it's going to be a 1.3. Yeah, it's 1.3. So when it comes to log booking, we round the second decimal up. So kind of a pain. You log 0.4, you get rounded down by 10 minutes or however many minutes, and you log above it, you get rounded up. So yeah. Like I said, very good job tonight, man. So for final scores, we originally graded in area 3. That's a Q. Area 4 is a Q. 6 is a Q. 8's a Q. 9. Let me check. Let's see. Make sure I'm looking at the right areas. Okay. 3 is pre-takeoff. Yep, that's a Q. Area 4, takeoff. That's a Q. 6, departure. That's a Q. 8, cruise navigation. That's a Q. Area 9, formation. That's a... We'll call it a Q minus. Simply because of that deal with the tanker. Sorry. Area 19, which would have been area refueling, we're going to give that a Q minus as there's one disconnect. Actually, sorry, area 19, 19.0 is a Q. 19.5 is a Q minus, which is the disconnect. Area 19 proper is a rendezvous, and area 19.5 is area refueling procedures techniques. So 0.0 or 0.0 proper is the rendezvous, and then 0.5 is the actual refueling. Area 20, the descent, that's a Q. Area 26, which is landing, that's a Q. No, that's not area 26. That'll be area 27, sorry. Area 28 is Q as well. Overall, very, very well done flight. So I'll head into okay, let's see. Cosmic, that's a Q there. Q there. Form 1-1. Administrative. Form 2-1 not done yet. Form AR is Q minus. There you go. You're all updated in the training logs. And I'm gonna log my time here. You submit your best rep. Yeah. You can put whatever you feel like you need to. I would put that would have been UPTG minus TAC UPTG minus TAC FRM. Because that's what that flight was. That was the UPT grad flight without TAC form. Which would just be AR. Yep. Yeah, that's correct. Looks like your time in the logbook is current. Cool stuff, man. Anything else you wanted to add about today's flight? And remember, it goes both ways. If you catch me on something. Yeah, I caught my. Good. Okay, so for lining up on departure, yeah, that's going to depend on which. Typically, the way we do it is it's going to depend on which direction you enter the runway from. You always want to, whoever's leading the lineup or departure wants to enter on the opposite side from which they entered. So if we enter the runway from the right, you want to go on the left. Yeah. My apologies there. Discord decided to shut the bed for a minute. All right. Any other questions? Oh, I wanted to get you the aircrew evaluation criteria doc. This one I actually pulled straight from Air Force ePublishing. No. Should be okay. Is that what you use? I don't think anybody else does, no. I think what the other guys do is they've kept their push talk buttons as they are in the sim, and they just kind of deal with the menu popping up every time they press it. I couldn't do that, but no. Yeah. Can't say I've ever tried it really. But I'd never really pissed around much with the AI. It's always been players for me. Voice that? Yeah, absolutely. No problem, man. Okay, that doc I just linked to you, that is all the areas. This is the first time I've really used it and stated what areas I'm going to grade and then graded them. Just kind of an experiment with today's flight. Do you think that's constructive or do you think it's just something we shouldn't really do? So if you look at the doc, you'll see that. So if you look at the doc, at pages 11 through 17 are all the areas. You can see there's a bunch in there that we could have thrown in that I didn't grade, but just wondered how you like that, if it was constructive. The notes for criteria start immediately afterwards in Chapter 3, Evaluation Criteria T2. You see grading standards that'll start with Area 1 and then work all the way through. A lesson packet? Yep. Mhm. Yeah, well, the whole canned lesson plan idea, Ribo and I have tossed that around. The problem with doing that is that we have like so many flights, and we're about to sit down with the docs you've given us and completely re-examine the training program. And I think the number of flights might go up or decrease. We don't know. I've actually already got a few done so far. They're not really packets so much as they are like pre-done briefs. So they don't like have the resources or anything in them. That's something I could try to play around with. We could get a few done. I could probably do 2 or 3 of them a week. Yeah, that's working at a pretty conservative pace. Um, but if it's something that would be really beneficial for the newer guys, especially, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. We appreciate it a lot, man. Let me bounce it off Ribo, and see what he thinks. In the meantime, I'm gonna start looking up these docs. Uh, yeah. Yeah. No, this is good stuff. This Sweet Six doc is fucking awesome. Especially, I mean, I've looked basically through it, but it basically explains every avionics and Dismas and TAD page. Wow, this is good stuff. S- Suite 8 was all under the hood changes. It'd be really cool to see what changes they made.